Mariah.
Hi.
Detective Chris Wagner from Carver County. Did I get you at a bad time?
No, this is perfect time to talk.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you. I got your message, and you must have been traveling or something, because I know your phone just went to voicemail when I called earlier, but...
oh my gosh. Yeah, it's probably service. I'm in California right now, so my service is like really in and out. So.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I understand, Mariah, that you were an assistant to Prince before Marone was, and I'm one of the investigators that's handling Prince's death, and your name had came up as somebody that I might want to talk to that might be able to have some information, and I'm not sure what information you would have.
Okay.
And so I guess that's what I was looking for, and I was just wondering if I could just get some basic information from you, if you were willing to talk to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't have like a whole lot, but I mean anything anything that I know, I will totally well, I let you know. So yeah, of course.
Well, of course, we want to just see what we can find out as far as from those people that knew him. I never met him, so you obviously knew him personally, so you would know some information too. So, how do you spell your first name, Mariah?
So it's Mariah.
Okay, and do you have a middle name?
Kathleen,
and it's Brown, correct?
Yep.
And what's your birth date, Mariah?
4/15/1991.
And do you have an address here or in California, or what would be your mailing address if I was...
Let's do the one back in Minnesota. So it's 791.
Okay.
That's Laurel, Laurel, Laurel Ave.
Okay.
That's in St. Paul, Minnesota, 55104.
Okay. And are you out in California still? Are you a model, aren't you, too?
Yep.
Okay.
Doing that and like back and forth. Just a lot of back and forth right now. So.
Okay. So let's start at the basics. So when did you get hired, or when did you start working for Prince?
I started working with him in, I want to say, October of 2013. Either September or October.
Okay. And how long do you think, or do you remember when you worked until?
Maybe, when was it? The end of 2014 or 15? Oh my gosh, why can I not remember this? I want to say it was going into 2015, if I remember, honestly.
Okay, that's fine. And you were personal assistant?
Correct.
Okay. So, what kind of things would you do for him?
So I would basically just run errands. It would be daily going and getting food for him, getting clothes. Anytime we would travel, I would travel before him just to, check out the rooms and stuff. And basically anything that he couldn't go and do on his own as far as, what we go and do on a daily basis. Just getting food mainly and, making phone calls, setting up meetings, sending out emails, all that stuff.
Okay. And when you said emails, do you remember the email address that you communicated with him on?
I don't remember it correct, the full thing. I mean, it is in my email, though. It's like a J.R.
Ramada?
J.R. Ramada. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm that we were talking about the same email address. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is it true that he didn't have a cell phone when you worked for him either?
Correct. No, he never had one.
Okay. So you would just communicate with him at Paisley then?
Yep, at Paisley. He would mainly send out emails or he would call from the landline. Okay,
and that would have been either his bedroom or the kitchen?
Yep, correct.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then how were you friends with Marone? Or did you know Marone, or how did she get...
Not really.
Okay.
So it was a thing where the prior assistant to me, she just kind of quit, and I was, new into everything, and I was just kind of having trouble doing it all on my own, so I was like, can I please, find someone else to hire in? And he's like, okay, sure. So our makeup artist, actually, she kind of was just throwing people out there. Marone, she does modeling as well. So she was like, oh, why don't you try her out? So I, kind of just reached out to her. I don't really know her background that much. I don't know too much about Marone, to be honest.
Okay. That was one of my questions, is if you knew her, because I knew you had... I think somebody that I talked to had kind of said that Marone was kind of brought in by you. So maybe this is why they were saying this, was because you were both models, and that's kind of how you kind of just reached out to her.
Yeah, no, I never, spoke to her anytime, prior to that before. It was just kind of a, hey, how are you? My name's Mariah. Blah, blah, are you interested in, coming and working here? I don't know. I'm trying to think if Julie, our makeup artist, knew her personally, or if... No, I don't think it was ever personal. I think, like I said, it was probably just through modeling gigs and stuff. But no, prior to that, I know nothing too much about her.
Okay. Do you still talk to her at all?
No, things... After he passed, I tried reaching out to her, but she wouldn't really respond back. Kind of that whole little group that was still with him, they all kind of got a little weird, and they weren't, responding back and stuff.
Okay, so who do you mean by got weird, or who do you mean the group?
So, when I know Marone was still with him, I think Kirk was still working with him at the time.
Okay.
Mainly those two, honestly, because I know for sure those two were the main ones there. And, me and Theo and Kieran, we would try to, we were just trying to reach out and figure out what was going on, but everyone was just, super secretive, or, not really responding, or, Marone responded, but she was, really just short, and it's like, okay, this is really weird, but whatever, so.
Okay. Well, that was one of my questions, is if you had talked to her since Prince died, but I take it...
Oh, yeah, no.
No, she kind of just went...
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I could, because, at the end of the day, I think, me and Theo, we just have a different view on the whole thing, and I just, things are just kind of fishy to me, and it's just weird, and... for them not to even reach out to people who, we were with him and work with him as well, it's just kind of weird to me that you wouldn't even reach out to, say what's going on. And I mean, obviously I know the gist of what happened, but, I don't know anything deeper within,
Yes. Okay. So, you mentioned Theo, and it's Theo London, correct?
Yep, Theo London.
Okay. And I will just tell you, he's the one who actually told me to reach out to you. So,
yeah.
Okay. I usually don't.
No, I love Theo. I'm so happy.
Okay. Well, I usually want to kind of, people sometimes are like, well, how did you get my number? How did you know who I was? And so, that just so you put your mind at ease, that's who had kind of said that I should talk to you.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm happy, I didn't know what was going on anymore with everything, and I'm just I hope something is being investigated and something is going on, because, like I said, to me and Theo, it's crazy, I don't know.
Yeah, so we're still working on this, and so I guess one of the things that I was interested in asking you, and as Theo had said, was that everyone knew, for the most part, that Prince was addicted to pain pills, and that he had a doctor that was in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I wonder if I cannot remember the doctor's name. I want to flip through emails to see if I have the name in there. I believe maybe his bodyguard has the name, but again, I'm not exactly sure if he has the name of it. No, Romeo. This was an older... have you spoken to Romeo before?
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah. No, like I don't know, but I will happily go through emails, like all of my emails, to see if there's something in there or a name that will like pop up. Because me personally, I never called a doctor before for him.
Oh, okay. Who would call the doctor?
I think it might have been girl Phaedra. I know she was involved in some of it. Maybe Phaedra, maybe Romeo. I cannot, remember. It would have to take for me to go into my emails to see and look at everything again to see who would have called.
Okay.
So I could definitely do that and give you a call back at a different time if I come up with anything. But no, besides that, like the whole addiction thing, I truly didn't know anything about it that much. Like all I knew he was in pain. I knew he had some like back and hip pain going on, but I didn't know to what extent, like I never wanted to, ask him about it or talk to him about it.
Okay.
Because truthfully, it's like, okay, like I get it, I work for him, but that aspect is really, somewhere I didn't want to dig into and start asking him, personal questions and stuff.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
And Mariah, just so you understand, you're not any part of this investigation as far as, I just want to make sure I clarify that with you, that we're not looking at people that might have given him drugs back, like back to you or Theo or anybody like that. We're just trying to find out currently who was responsible currently. What had happened. So, if you think of anything, or do you talk to Romeo still or not?
I don't, but I can definitely try to reach out to him. I'm not sure if he has the same number, but I can email him. But, like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, I could only think of 3-4 people that were with him that day, so obviously, one of them is responsible for this.
Okay.
Whether it was, I know, Judith was with him, Marone, I think she was with him on the trip, and Kirk was there. I'm not sure if Theo mentioned Phaedra to you or not. I'm not exactly sure if she was there as well. Yeah,
what do you know of Phaedra? Did you work with Phaedra also?
I did. She's not my favorite, to be honest.
And why is that?
Just a lot of shady things that she would do. Personally, she screwed me over with taxes. And she, just manipulated a lot of people when we were working, got a lot of people fired. She worked her way into being in charge of Prince's money and, like, kind of knocked Theo out and just, stuff like that. Like, you can just tell she's not a great person at all, to be honest. And I don't say that about anyone at all. But her, everyone around, that work, and they will say the same thing, like, she just came off really weird, and I just, personally, I don't like her.
Okay. When you
the way that she worked, the things she did.
When you said that she screwed you out of taxes, what does that mean?
So she basically went and so I was a W-2 employee with them. So, my taxes, they were being taken out when I was working and getting paid. And then all of a sudden, after I stopped working with them, I get this huge 1099 for like $100,000, basically saying I have to pay taxes on this. So I'm just like, okay, why am I getting a 1099? And what is all this amount of money? And she's like, well, that's the amount of money you made and you have to pay taxes on. It's like, Phaedra, are you kidding me right now? Like, I was a W-2 employee. So somewhere in between there, I got switched to a 1099 without being told. And she sent me basically, because I would spend my personal money on Prince. And I would get reimbursed for it. And so she basically added all of my reimbursement on there and basically said, oh, yeah, you have to pay taxes on this. So I did go through a lawyer and I got that all fixed, but still at the end of the day, it's left me having to pay all this money in taxes, and I'm still, I still didn't do it yet because it's a thing where it's like, do I want to go back in with a different lawyer and, like, go after her. I mean, this is super irrelevant to what, is going on right now and what you're investigating, but that's just something I personally am dealing with her right now with.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, stuff like that she would do, and
so
just money-wise.
So when Prince would say, I want some food or something, you would use your own personal money to go buy it for him, and then keep track of it, and then he would pay you back.
Yep, he would pay me back. I would, I put everything on a spreadsheet for him, what's owed to who, and send it in, and he would approve of it, and then, it would just get paid back to everyone else. So,
would you still have any of those spreadsheets at all?
Yeah, I think I do have some of them.
If you wouldn't mind, could you send them to me or email them, just so that I'd be kind of curious as to what he was having you buy at that time, or if that was it just basically food and that's it?
No, it was basically food. So I would make my own personal. So what would happen is we each would make our own personal spreadsheet. So, I mean, I can send you those, and then we would put it all on one big one, for people who, okay, so weekly pay or whatever, this person gets that, this person gets that. So it's not like the final one isn't itemized for him to see. All he sees is the amount of everything, and then he'll go through it and look, and he'll either approve it or not.
Oh,
so, I mean, I have my own personal ones that I sent in. I mean, I could send you those ones if you want to look at it. But yeah, mainly it was mainly food and toiletry stuff. Like, that's it.
Oh, okay. But you don't have, like, Kirk's or anybody that was working their spreadsheet?
No.
Oh, then, disregard then, Mariah. I don't think
it's okay.
I was thinking if it was everybody's expenses, that would be interesting.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I wonder who would have that one, though, because they obviously had to send it into stuff. Actually, you know what? It could be, again, Phaedra. Like, I don't know if you spoke with her or if you plan on it, but I mean, some people, they would send it in to her, and she would make the spreadsheets as well. So she might have everyone's itemized things. Again, I will definitely look through my emails, though, but I don't remember anyone ever sending me their itemized spreadsheet at all for reimbursement.
Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that Phaedra had kind of weaseled her way into being in charge of Prince's money. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So Theo can actually tell you more because it happened to him. Okay. But I just know that, what was it? He would know better than me, but I know there was a time where, Theo was in charge of the money, and he was in charge of the accounts, and Phaedra would, like, go back and forth with Theo, just, like, randomly asking him these questions, like, oh, so, hey, how's your credit? Or hey, how is your bank account? Oh, who do you bank with? Just, like, these weird questions. And Theo's just like, why is she asking all these weird questions or whatever? And basically she, like, went behind his back and went to Prince and was like, oh, just so you know, I honestly can't remember. I'm sorry. It's like bits and pieces, but like I said, Theo can tell you more. But she was like, she basically went behind Theo's back and went to Prince and was like, said something about you have to have this credit score, this, or said something to Prince that made him want to have her in charge of the money now. Okay. So it was just like, it's like, why did you do that in the first place? Like, it's just weird to me.
That's
like, why would you do that?
Okay. Were you there at all when Phaedra got the masters back for Prince? Was that during your time?
Yes, with Warner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was actually at the meeting, and that too, honestly, was just weird. Okay. All of this stuff is just weird to me. So we were in the meeting, and I remember Prince wanted to, it was either between Warner or L.A. Reid that he wanted to choose to work with. And he's just asking me, like, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm just like, I wouldn't go with, I mean, getting his master's back, cool, that's totally fine. But it was a thing where if he wanted to re-sign with Warner. And I said no. I said I wouldn't do it if I were you. I'd just go with this person, that's that. And it just seemed like she kept trying to push him to, go back with Warner. I don't know if it just even makes a lot of sense to you, but to me, it was just like, because I know the past and what happened, obviously a long time ago, years ago, when, that all happened. And it's like, why would you want to, do this again? Because, if something were to happen, they obviously are going to, have your music now again, and you don't know what's going to happen, later on down the road and stuff. And sure enough, you have all his music just all over the internet now, and just, on Apple and Spotify and stuff, which is just bizarre to me. So, but basically Phaedra, it seemed like she just kept pushing him to go back with Warner. And to me, personally, it was just weird. Like,
okay.
You just keep pushing him in these, like, weird directions, and he didn't see what she was doing, behind closed doors. Like I said, you can speak to all of the band members, anyone that was with him at the time, and they will tell you, yeah, Phaedra did this, Phaedra screwed me with this, she did that, like, it's just never a good thing with her. So that's why I'm really skeptical about her in the first place.
Okay.
Because it's just weird to me. I don't know.
Did you know anything about Phaedra setting up his royalties or anything like that?
No.
No, okay. You said that Phaedra was kind of the one who would organize him meeting doctors and things like that?
I want to say she did maybe once or twice. Again, like I said, I will definitely go through my emails, and I will let you know what I find.
Okay.
But I know for sure, this last time, where before his death, I believe she was involved in it as well, and he flew to the hospital, whatever, didn't want to stay or whatever the story was, and he left, and then for them to call a doctor X amount of days later, again, is just weird to me. Like, why would you wait so many days to call a doctor for him when clearly he's sick or whatever the case was?
Sure.
So that to me was also fishy, and I think she was the one who might have called that doctor at the time as well when they found him in the elevator dead or whatever it was.
Okay.
So, it could have been. Again, I will definitely look through my emails and let you know what I find, if I find the doctor's name and all that stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a pen? I can give you my email address if that would be, or do you want to just call me if you can either call this number is my office number. You can also just call and leave a message also.
Okay, yeah, I mean, whatever works. Let me see. Let me put it in my computer, though, anyways, just so I have your email.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Okay, what's your email?
It's C. Wagner, and Wagner's spelled Wagner.
Okay.
At co.carver.mn.us.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely either email you or give you a call when I look through that. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm just really curious if there was any doctors that you remember setting up appointments for, or anybody that you would have had to schedule anything. And when you had said the assistant quit, was that Crystal that quit before you, or somebody else?
Nope, it was Michaela.
Michaela. Do you know what her last name was?
I don't know her.
Okay.
It could be Ferguson, I think.
Was she before Kieran?
She was kind of during Kieran. I remember those two kind of like working together. So Michaela is the one that brought me in, and then she just ended up quitting, and nobody could like get a hold of her at all anymore. So.
Okay. So you understand kind of what our investigation is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything, Mariah, that you think would be helpful for me to know, or I know he kind of expressed Phaedra that it's kind of being fishy, and then Kirk and Marone not, talking to anybody after Prince died and stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else you can think of, or even when you had worked for Prince, did he ever have you go and get packages for him, or did he ever send packages? I assume, did you stay at the Country Inn and Suites also?
I stayed there or sometimes. I mainly just stayed at my parents' house, though. So
in St. Paul?
Yep, in St. Paul.
Okay. Did he ever send packages that you weren't supposed to open or anything like that?
No packages. I never picked up anything for him. As far as, painkiller stuff, I don't have a history of getting any of those at the doctor, so I don't, he never asked me to get any before, and,
Did you know if I did ask somebody at all? Who that would have been?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of, honestly. I'm trying to think if he could have asked people prior to me coming in, honestly. Like I said, I knew about his pain, but I didn't want to be the person to just, go deep into it with him. Because me personally, I don't take painkillers. Never, maybe got them 3 times before when I was younger at the hospital, just stuff like that. So,
okay.
No packages I can think of. No. Oh, gosh, let's see.
Would he have packages sent to Country Inn and Suites still? Like clothing, whatever?
Not for him. Clothing, I would deal with that personally, and he only had one person who would make his clothing for him. So I was the one who would... Where would it get sent to? I'm trying to think if it would get sent directly to Paisley, actually.
Do you know who the person was that made his clothes back then?
I have to look through my emails for that one again.
Okay.
Some guy who's based out of LA. But I know for sure that was nothing fishy at all, because I would be the one to always inspect the package and make sure the clothes are there and what we ordered in particular, and, that was that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think, but no other packages. I don't remember ever, him saying, oh, there's a package at the Country Inn for me, can you go get it? That's, kind of weird. I'd be like, okay, what did you order? Because I would personally order things for him, and mainly if it was... it'd mainly be clothes. He would see something, and he'd be like, hey, Mariah, can you order this for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So,
Okay.
That was pretty much that. Other than that, I don't know if there was other people doing stuff, There were so many people around him, and he had a different relationship with each person around him. So, I don't know if someone else might have grabbed him something, or if he could have been asking other people, stuff like that.
Sure. So when he would ask you to buy him clothes, would you still pay your own cash for that? Or did he have a card or something that he put it on, or?
No, Phaedra would never give me a card. I asked a billion times, and she wouldn't give me a business card. Even though she had one, she wouldn't give me one. So I still had to spend, my own clothes, and he doesn't shop cheap.
No.
I would spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars out of my own money and have to get reimbursed for it. So sometimes he would, in advance, he'll say, oh, how much is it? And he'll have Phaedra, give, or not Phaedra, the, what's her name? Marilyn, his banker. He'll ask her to transfer me the money, and I'll just order the clothing or whatever. But it's rare that happened. That happened maybe twice. So, it will all be out of my own money, and, yeah.
Okay. Was Ray Roberts the cook back then when you were there?
Ray. Oh, Ray. I think, is it Ray and Jules?
Yeah.
Is that who we're talking about?
Yep.
Kinda. We had, how many did we go through? I want to say they were there at first, and then they got fired or whatever the case was, and then I brought in maybe two other people, or maybe one other person, and then he let them go as well, and then I brought Ray, and, I didn't bring them back. Marone, he asked Marone to find a cook for him, and then it just randomly she ended up finding them, and I was laughing. I was like, that's funny. They used to be our cook before. And I was like, just bring them back anyway. So, yeah, they were there for a while, though. I think they were still there when he passed, too, I believe. They were still working there. I'm not exactly sure.
That's okay. So when he would want something in the kitchen, was it kind of like the assistant's job to communicate with like the cooks and stuff? He wants this or that, or whose job would it be to order him stuff?
No. So it was, like I said, a daily thing. I would go and get him lunch from the same restaurant every day. He would want the same thing.
What is that? And where was that?
It was the Ecopolitan. That I think it's closed down now, but it's on Hennepin. I think it's on Hennepin. It's over in Minneapolis, though. It was like this little, I want to say it was some raw vegan place or something like that. So literally every day I would go to Ecopolitan and get him food and drop it off to him. And then for dinner is when the cooks would come. And sometimes he would ask for things, but other than that, they would just come and they would just make, whatever it is that they make. And it was just a daily thing. Like, they would cook for him and the band members. So it was just like a cycle. Every day, the same thing. They come up for dinner, they cook, and then I would go get them lunch, and it was just, a repetitive thing.
So what did he eat every single day, the same thing?
I know. He would eat, it was always different things I would try to get him, but, I can't even remember what was on the menu, but,
so it wasn't the same food, it was just always the same place.
Yeah, it was always the same place, but, different. I would just try to switch the items around, like a juice, a juice and whatever raw vegan stuff that they had there, I would just get that for him. But the cooks would, they would obviously cook different things each time they would come in.
Okay, I thought when you said it, he'd always get the same thing. I was just curious.
Oh,
what,
yeah, no.
What was that he'd eat every day, So.
I know. Oh, goodness.
Okay, so I think basically, from what I kind of understand is Phaedra, Marone, and Kirk, something was kind of fishy, but it sounds like you don't really, did you have anything specifically with Kirk or Marone other than they just not communicate with you after his death? Or was there something more?
No, everything, when I worked with them, they were fine, okay. Everything was normal. We were just working, doing our job, and then all of a sudden, like I said, when that started happening, and me and Theo were trying to reach out. Well, I don't know if he got a hold of anyone, but I tried reaching out to Kurt. He didn't respond back, and Marone, and she just was like, I can't even remember what she texted me back, but I reached out. She didn't respond, and I reached out again, and then she was just really short with me, and it's like, okay, whatever. And I know the young lady, Judith Hill, was with him at the time too, but she, I don't know if she had anything to do with anything, but I know she was with him when, his plane landed and he was in the hospital, because she spoke about it to me and Theo, actually, because we all went to dinner, and after it happened, we all went to dinner, and she was just, really shaken up and just crying, and I don't know. So I don't know if she knows anything either.
Okay.
But, like I said, obviously, Marone, Kirk, Judith, Phaedra, one of them knows something. It's a no-brainer. Something obviously happened when they were in Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta. Yeah, when they were in Atlanta, and, they're just keeping quiet about it, which is frustrating me,
Yeah.
It's like the person you work for is dead now because of something that someone possibly gave to him. And out of all four of you, one of you had to have set up something or gave him something, because he can't do it on his own.
Right. Right.
So it's crazy to me. So one of them knows something, but obviously it's going to be really difficult trying to. Well, I don't know if it will be difficult, but I just know that for a fact. One of them knows something, and they're just not telling the truth about it. So.
Okay.
it saddens me, and that's just, it's still on my mind till this day, because it's crazy, if something happened, they need to just say what happened, exactly what happened.
Right.
Like, who gave it to him? If you gave him something and you didn't know what it was, and then it happened, it's like, still, like, tell someone. Like, oh my goodness, so.
Right, it would make our job easier, wouldn't it?
No, and they probably, whoever it is, probably thinks that they're going to get in so much trouble, but I mean, technically, yes, you're giving him something that you probably shouldn't be giving him in the first place, unless it was prescribed from a doctor, but I don't think it was. I don't know. Like, it's just, It's weird, but you gave him something so strong that he's dead now, so it's bizarre.
Okay. I wanted to see if you knew some of names of Renville Wellington. Have you ever heard that name?
What's the name?
Renville Wellington.
Renville?
Yeah.
No. I can try to pop these names into my email too, though, to see if you have like a list too of like names. If you could like email them over to me, I'll definitely pop them into my email to see if that name pops up. But I've never heard that name before.
Okay. What's your email address, Mariah?
So it's mariahkbrown@gmail.com.
Mariah K. Brown at Gmail?
Yep.
Okay. Who do you know any other security other than Romeo that he would have had, and Kirk?
No, so mainly Romeo and Kirk were the main ones around. When we were over in London, he used someone like once. Other than that, it was the same thing. Actually, there was another one that was around for like a small period of time, but he really didn't interact with him,
Okay.
Like, it takes him a while to warm up to people. It took him personally 3 months to warm up to me. So I don't see them, anything happening with those guys. So there were a few people that were around when Romeo, if he had like an emergency, we would have to hire someone else in. But like I said, it was just, okay, them coming in, doing their job, and he really didn't communicate with them that much.
Okay. I think that's all that I have right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I would appreciate if you did have time to go through. I'm really trying to find any doctors that he would have met with.
Okay.
Or if there was any appointments that were made. But you said for the most part you didn't do any of those setting up. Somebody else must have set appointments up for him.
Yeah, no, I've never actually called or set anything up. Like, I think I received an email one time saying, oh, the doctor's here, and I think that might have been, like, a chiropractor or something. But again, I'll look through my emails to see what pops up.
Okay. Yeah, Theo had kind of told me that you did that, so I was trying to find out, or he thought that you might know who the doctor was.
I've never, like, actually called him before.
Okay. But did the doctor ever come out there at all, do you know? Did he ever come out, like do house calls at Paisley?
There was a chiropractor one time that came out, but that's the only person that I remember. I don't remember his name. Again, I didn't call him.
Okay.
It could have been maybe Romeo or Phaedra, one of those two. Like, I don't know. Like,
okay.
Maybe there's like a spreadsheet with like people's names on it or something, but I'll definitely go through and look for it. Because like I said, I personally never have called anyone to set up anything before.
Okay. Yeah, Mariah, if you wouldn't mind taking a look and going through some of those things and sending them to me. You can email them to me if that's better. Anything that you think might be useful, obviously, what we're investigating and just trying to see if there's anything else that would be helpful for us. That would be great. And
okay. Yeah.
Is there anybody other than Theo that you think that I should talk to that would be helpful for this investigation at all? Kieran's over. Have you tried reaching out to Kieran before? Oh, yes. Yep.
Okay. That's the only person I can think of then. I'm trying to think of anyone else. Michaela, she ran off the map, and I don't even think she would be
Okay.
relevant in any of it. No, honestly, like Theo and Kieran are like the two best bets because, you know, they personally dealt with a lot too, you know, with him and also with Phaedra too. So,
all right. Well, yeah.
I know.
If we hang up and you think of something, Mariah, you've got my phone number, you got my email. Just let me know, and I appreciate your time.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you for calling.
All right. Thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.